Sports Talk 916 with Greg Bull and Coach Greg Baroza.
If you'd like to participate in this show and listen live, there's a number of ways to do it. You can go to the Mixlr app, or you can follow us on Facebook Live every Sunday. You can also go on the wildfireradio.com
you can't.
website.
You need to
and listen to
here
us Tuesdays at 3 o'clock
for some of the
Eastern, 12
best
o'clock
fantasy
Pacific.
football advice
And
you'll
if you
ever
want to
get.
contact us, head over to our website at sportstalk916.com.
You can do that.
There you'll find all of our social media feeds, bonus after-hours content that you won't hear anywhere else.
You can do that.
What up?
That can stop quick. What's happening?
What up? What up?
It's another Sunday.
It sure is.
It is, and it's episode 256 of this little ditty that we call Sports. Whoa, my mic just moved. I think there's a ghost in here.
Right.
This little ditty that we call Sports Talk 916. We're the two-headed monsters of Greg that we call your hosts. Duh.
Stumble.
Right. I'm Greg V, Coach Greg V. Greg B, Mr. Chief.
What's up?
Not much, man. What's happening?
Not much. Albert says, what's up? Mark says, how are you? Mark, we're good. Oscar, hola amigos, ¿qué pasa? Burrito. And TJ says, hello.
Taco.
Tony, what's up? What's up, guys? It is Sunday morning.
It's that time for you guys to kick back and listen to us.
That's right. Josh Zimmerman is on. Obviously, you're on. It's another good one. How was your week?
Well, it was pretty good until Thursday. And Thursday was a little bad, especially later in the night as the football game went on, and Jared Goff decided to score a bazillion points. And I'm giving you guys a tip right now: do not listen to anything that I say about fantasy football
Ever.
Jared Goff scored 120 points in our league. I've never seen anybody score 100 points in any league.
You don't remember Peyton Manning's 7-touchdown game in our league?
Uh-uh.
It was like 150.
Oh. So Jared Goff decided to score 120 points. I benched him.
Thank you.
And I'm playing some idiot who had Cooper Kupp.
Last second started Cooper Kupp. Very last second. So Juju Smith-Schuster was questionable all week. And I was like, what if he doesn't play? So, like, literally 2 minutes before the game started, I was like, no, I'm going with Kupp. Put him in. And then I'm in the game, and I'm watching it go, and I'm getting ready to go out. We were going out to dinner that night or whatever. And I'm watching it, and every time Kupp scores, I'm like, fuck. I'm, like, pissed at myself, right? And
Because you thought you didn't.
Yeah. And Sheena's like, why are you so pissed? I'm like, because fucking Kupp is going off on my bench. And then I pulled it up, and I was like, oh, shit, I started.
So I'm in 3 different leagues. And in all 3 leagues, it's really weird. In all 3 leagues, whoever has Jared Goff also has Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. All 3 of the leagues. And all 3 of the leagues started Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
And then Dave was on the radio yesterday. Yesterday, or the day, it must have been the day before, with a fantasy football show, and one of the guys called in and said, I have Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff, and should I still be starting Rodgers?
Hell no.
So, sounds like everybody in the world is starting Rodgers over Goff.
And some
just
asshole in our league was like, hey, I'll trade you Aaron Rodgers. I was like, fuck you. I don't want him. I mean, I could probably use him, but
Hey, you don't have a quarterback, though.
hey.
So
I picked up Jared Allen. I'm
John,
riding the Jared Allen train
You're
this
going to
week.
pick up the defensive lineman that retired a couple of years ago from Minnesota?
I picked up Josh Allen.
You picked up Jared Allen, man.
Yeah. All right.
One other little quick note. My El Camino girls JV water polo team took second place in their tournament yesterday. So that's kind of cool.
And we'll do one other quick note. Congratulations to the Crazies running in Tahoe. It's the Spartan World Championships this weekend. John Albin won the men's. Ryan Atkins took second, and Robert Killian took third. Killian's the first person ever to have 4 podiums in 4 straight years at a world championship race. And on the women's side, Lindsay Webster won back-to-back world championships to them, so congrats. And then to our friends from, we got some buddies from our Total Nutrition group, or family, I should say. Steve and Tyler and Jeremy and Ben and Josh and a few others are up right now running the Ultra Beast, which is 2 laps on the Beast course, roughly about 34 miles, somewhere around 70 obstacles, and they have 12 hours to do it. So
That is just fucking nuts. Sorry.
best of luck to you guys. I wish I was up there, not running it. I wish I was up there watching it because I mean, although I probably should run an ultra because I'm getting ready for World's Toughest Mudder, but I'm still healing, so oh well.
You got all kinds of stuff going on, don't you? Toes and shoulders and
My shoulder's good. Of all the things that have been bothering me the last couple years, my shoulder is good. We're gonna bring back a classic. Are you ready? I gotta find the button for it. I should have been more prepared. Hold on.
us prepare. Come on now. We don't ever do that.
Do I even have it on here anymore? Haha.
Are you kidding me? You kidding me? You kidding me, right? Are you kidding me? You kidding? You kidding me? You kidding me? Are you kidding me? You kidding me? You kidding me? Are you kidding me?
What was that?
I have notes.
Look at you. By the way, Tim Cardoza is the mic out of my face. Is that good enough for you? And Michael Romo, no, let's not get Le'Veon Bell.
Oh God, no. Well, you know what?
I'm sure we'll talk about that later on.
I have dual thoughts on that. All right, let's go with this. Are you kidding me first? So I believe it was Mark Lamphere who sent me a link about Major League Baseball and how bad it's getting for the home run hitters and all this other stuff, right? Did you hear about Chris Davis?
Yes.
Baltimore Orioles. Chris Davis, right?
Uh-huh.
2015 hit 47 home runs. 2013 hit 53 home runs. He's been a dual threat long ball guy with a good eye and getting on base. Davis, he goes down officially now as having the worst batting average in the history of Major League Baseball for a full-time player. Chris Davis.
Yeah, probably Mark Davis too, though.
Right. Finishes the year. And let me start this by saying he received a 7-year, $161 million contract recently. He also survived the barn fire, which basically killed the Orioles' chances of anything. They got rid of Machado. They got rid of Britton. They got rid of their closer. They got rid of Melanson. They got rid of everybody. Chris Davis is finishing the year with a 168 batting average.
God.
Madison Bumgarner has a higher batting average. Chris Davis, in order to even get close to the OPS of the American League, the average OPS this season was 734. Davis would have needed, in the last 4 games, he would have to go 5 for 5 with 5 home runs in all 4 games to finish the season at a 718. He wouldn't even hit the average if he hit 25 home runs in 4 games.
Wow.
How he's even a major league player right now is unbelievable. But it goes to show that baseball, at least for hitters, has changed. They're going for the long ball. They're literally home run or bust. You can tell by Stanton and all these other guys' numbers.
And strikeouts and all that kind of stuff too.
Raise the mic over Greg Bull. Hey, Greg, raise the mic over Greg Bull. What?
You didn't hear me. You were doing something. No. I asked, my friend Tim Cardozo was on, and he's been giving me shit about having the mic over my face.
Oh, so you lowered. I got it.
So I lowered it, and I asked him if it was all right, and I think it was Oscar said, no, put the mic over Greg Bull's face.
Well, fuck you too, Oscar. But yeah, so there's that. So, Chris Davis, you're a joke. Did you see what happened to Giancarlo, was it Stanton?
Yeah, it was
Stanton. Yeah, Stanton yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
The Red Sox have a new center fielder if they find this guy.
Guy had a cannon.
So let's preface that a little bit by the fact that he did throw it from the top of the monster. So he had a little bit more height to start that throw. But
still.
Stanton hits a home run yesterday on top of the monster. Dude catches it, hurls it back, and as Stanton's turning second base, it hits it.
Now, I think it hit him on the bounce, but still hit him.
Who cares? Still hit him.
Right, it still hit him.
Impressive as hell. Credit to Stanton. Stanton, instead of getting pissed and stopping and yelling and doing whatever, he just tipped his hat like, hey, good throw, basically. And then the umpires signaled to security to go find the guy and throw him out of the game. But kudos to that guy. What an arm. Pretty impressive.
So do you think, because there's a lot of parks where if the opposing team hits a home run, they throw the ball back in.
Throwing it back in and throwing it at a player, I think, are two different things.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to end that little tradition? Do you think
No, I
people
don't
are going to
think
get thrown out of the game if they throw the ball back?
No, I think if they throw it back and hit somebody, they may get thrown out of the game. But no, it definitely not. I think they'll be fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's hilarious, personally. Let's see. Got a couple more here. We'll do football. Let's see. Football, basketball. We'll do the football ones first. Jerry Jones, the beloved owner of the Dallas Cowboys,
God.
goes on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas and says he sees similarities between the Cowboys and Rams offense.
What, that there's 11 people on the field?
Right. They throw a football. We've been just as...
No, Cowboys can't throw a football. That's the whole problem.
Well, they have a football.
They
We'll
have.
call it that. We've been just as proud as Dak as they are of Goff. Last year they had Austin, and we have Austin this year. I don't think it's a reach to think we could have that kind of productivity.
No kidding.
What the hell is wrong with Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones loves him some Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones loves to hear Jerry Jones.
We are
talk
going to get
on
to
radio.
baseball, Josh.
Yeah. He's an idiot. And there's a reason why the Cowboys have Austin. Because
The Rams didn't want him.
Right.
Fun fantasy football tip, though. If you need a running back and you want to get double points, go get Tavon Austin. Yahoo Fantasy Football has him listed as a wide receiver and a running back. So you can plug him in at running back and get wide receiver points should Dak find out how to throw a ball to him.
Yeah, but isn't...
But then you're wasting a roster spot with Tavon Austin.
Yeah, right.
Let's see here. Josh says
So does he? So if he's listed as a running back and a wide receiver, and he gets a pass that scores 3 points, do you get 6?
I just think
So it doesn't really matter. You just put him in, and
right, but you have an option of running basically a fourth wide receiver if your league
Right.
only runs 3 or vice
Right.
versa. Josh says that throw that the fan made was with no stride or follow through at all. Yeah, he was on top of the monster. It's not like he crow hopped. He just planted him through, which was pretty impressive. In C.J. Beathard, I believe, we'll get to that.
CJ
Beathard. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's see. Todd Haley and that Browns win, right? They ran that trick play on the 2-point conversion to take the lead or to tie the game. Todd Haley says he absolutely took that 2-point play he called on Thursday night from the Eagles. He says he has no shame.
No coach does.
No, not at all.
No coach does.
But there are coaches who are idiots who don't like to take any kind of credit and don't like to be on the same page as their coordinators because Hugh Jackson, head coach of the Rams, said on Thursday night, we did not steal that from them. I know everybody wants to think that. We've had that in our back pocket for a while. Fits the Browns, right? Being a little bit less
Right.
coordinated than you want to believe.
Well, any coach in their right mind is going to admit that they steal from everybody they possibly can. There's no such thing as an original thought.
Especially
In any sport.
Especially Philly. That's a great play. Run it.
I know.
What time is the NL West talk? We're going to get to that next, Oscar. We have 2 more of these.
Why do we want to talk about the fucking
Because
NL
we're going to
West?
talk playoffs.
What?
Because whatever, we'll do it real
Baseball's
quick.
over with.
We'll do
It's
it real-
done.
We'll do
It's
it real
dead.
quick. We'll do it real quick. Jerry Jones has Alzheimer's or however you spell it. Absolutely. Damn it. Tristan Thompson, Cavaliers, has hit his goddamn head.
Again?
Yeah. Tristan Thompson says the East must still go through the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Huh?
Yeah. We're
Right.
still 4-time Eastern Conference champions, so until you take us down from that, teams ain't got much to say. Thompson told reporters following the Cavaliers practice. Austin, Philly, they ain't got much to say. Boston had home court game 7 and lost. Phillies, you almost got swept. Toronto, we know that story. Can he really think that losing LeBron James, you're still going to be the top team in the East?
No.
I don't think you're making the playoffs.
I don't think so either. I think the only
Let
time,
alone, the only time it's going to go through the East is that every team in the East has to play Cleveland.
right. And the only thing that's going through Cleveland is going to be the first pick in the draft, the most ping pong balls.
Can I make a bold prediction right here on Sunday, September 30th?
A week before the season
A
starts.
week before basketball and everything else gets going?
Uh-huh.
The Cleveland Browns will make the playoffs before this iteration of the Cavaliers sniff the playoffs.
Oh, I think the Browns have a better shot this year than the Cavaliers
Absolutely.
do. Yeah.
Absolutely. ID10T. Absolutely he is. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, we're going to get to Bobby Evans here in a second, too. Last one, ESPN gets our big Are You Kidding Me? ESPN ran a story this week. It's contagious.
Sneezing.
What fandom, or when fandom goes bad, most miserable fans in pro sports. Did you see this?
I didn't read the article, but I saw the results.
So they have some weird little, like, Saber Matrix kind of bullshit that they rank it with the different points and blah, blah, blah. So the top, we'll just do the top 10. Funny, I say Saber Matrix and the Sabres are on here. The Bears get a 19.5, so they're the 10th worst.
Really?
The Buffalo Sabres are 9th. Cincinnati Reds, 8th. Chicago White Sox, 7th, which doesn't make sense. They have a great fan base. The Milwaukee Brewers, 6th. I could see them much higher. The Buffalo Bills, 5th.
Well, they just live in Buffalo. That just sucks.
Right, and the fact is the Buffalo fans are fired up. They're not miserable.
Yeah, but is this over who's the worst fans, or is it the fans that...
It says when fans go bad.
Hmm.
Damn, Oscar, you are absolutely right.
Bingo.
The Browns have a better chance of making the playoffs before our Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, well.
Florida Panthers 4th, Cleveland Browns 3rd, San Diego Padres 2nd, and the worst fan base based on ESPN's rankings are the Sacramento Kings. Have they not been to a Kings game? Even
What is it? What's the breakdown say?
So the breakdown of this, it says, let's see. Do you know what destroys therapy? Here are the top 25 most professional, miserable sports franchises to be a fan at with teams 26. We also break out the positive points mean higher misery, while negative points means less, just like golf. Full explanation of the formula can be found in the box below. All right, where's the box? Where?
Probably below the... Go to the team below the...
Oh, here's the box. Okay. Where the hell did the box go? Lost the box. No, that's not a breakdown. That's just a list. What the fuck? Hold on.
Is there a description underneath the Kings of what it says that why we're bad?
The
I think it's the
Raiders are 21st.
I think it's the team that is the worst to be a fan of.
Oh, okay. The Sports Misery Index Formula. The 5 primary factors in fan misery forum. One is championships. The more frequently you win championships, the less you have to complain about.
So we lose there.
If your most recent champion was 25 plus years ago, it's almost as if you've never won it all.
Yep.
Playoff bursts. How you're going to win a championship if you don't make the playoffs.
Ding ding.
Playoff wins.
Ding ding.
Heartbreaks.
Ding ding.
And rival comparisons. If they compare the Kings to the Warriors as rivalry, then they're fucking stupid. Heartbreak, they mentioned the Tim Donaghy thing. The fact that they're comparing the Kings to the Warriors okay, we're done with this shit.
So, but I think what they're saying, they're not saying that we're the worst fan base. It's our team is the worst team to be a fan of.
Yeah, but they're calling it the most miserable fan base in sports.
I think what okay, so you got a comma problem going on. The most miserable, as in the fan base that is not the worst, but feels the worst about themselves.
Maybe
I think that's what it. I think that's what it is. It's the fan base that has nothing to hold on to, and they're just miserable because they're fans of a particular team, not because they're miserable fans.
Yeah, but it's ESPN, so they love trashing on Sacramento. They absolutely love trashing on.
Well,
Sacramento.
of course, and we deserve it.
Right.
Not the city, but the team.
Right. All right. So as of right now, Oscar wanted to talk playoffs. We're going to talk real quick. So as of right now, the Red Sox, not the Red Sox, I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong thing. The Rockies and Dodgers are both tied for first place.
Right.
The winner of that division, which comes down to, I believe, play today. The
Right.
Giants,
So if
the
if
Giants need to win and beat the Dodgers, and the Rockies need to win in order for the Dodgers to take second in the West, which would be
Right.
the wild card.
right, if they both tie, there's a 1-game playoff tomorrow.
Right. So we're rooting for the Giants to get that upset today.
Yeah,
To put the Dodgers in the wild
They haven't
card.
done anything right all year. Why should they do anything?
Absolutely correct. So, as it stands, if the Dodgers win the West, they will host. I'm sorry. If the Dodgers win the West, they will play Atlanta in the first round.
Okay.
If the Dodgers lose today and land the wild card, they will have a 1-game wild card with the Brewers. Winner goes on to play the Cubs.
I thought there was St. Louis is out of it.
St. Louis is out as of yesterday.
Okay, so is the whole is everybody set then?
No, it.
You just have to figure out who is what.
Who's winning
Right.
the NL West is all that's left to be set.
Right.
And then it flip flops. Obviously, if the Dodgers win the West, then they go on. Like I said, they face Atlanta in the first round. They get to wait for Colorado and Milwaukee to settle the 1-game wild card. Both of those
Right.
teams in the NL West are locked. It's just a matter of where they're going to fall. So let's just put hope in our Giants, and as pretentious as it is, and they win today, and Colorado wins as well. Milwaukee does not stand a chance against the Dodgers in a 1-game wild card. Do you agree?
No.
You don't agree?
No.
You think that Milwaukee can knock off the
I
Dodgers?
think Milwaukee has a shot at going all the way.
Really?
With their bullpen is lights out. They have, I didn't realize this, but they have a potential Triple Crown winner.
Do they?
Yeah.
In who?
I forget his name. TJ, what's his name?
Yelich?
Yeah.
Yelich. I wish the Giants would have went after him
So
last year.
he's first in home runs, or he's first in batting average, tied for first in home runs, and is like 2 RBIs behind whoever's leading in RBIs.
Nice. What's up, PK? So, Oscar, I'll ask you this, because you are the resident Dodger fan here, and you've been extremely,
Of course we
we'll
are.
say real about, we'll say extremely real about your Dodgers and their potential. How do you feel about the Dodgers' chances, regardless of where they land in the playoffs? You've been saying all year long that you're concerned about the bullpen. You weren't overly optimistic like a lot of fans were when Machado came in, that he wasn't going to be the savior like everyone thought. Where does your level of confidence sit with your team going into this final? Let's be real. The chances of the Dodgers not getting into that, likely getting into that 1-game playoff, the tiebreaker with the Rockies, for the chance of the Giants winning today, since Bumgarner already pitched this weekend, unless it's Derek Rodriguez, I would
No,
say
he pitched yesterday.
then that means it's Andy Suarez?
Yeah.
I'd put it at 40-60 that the Giants win this game today. Unless like Hunter Pence and those guys that are in their final game go nuts.
And I think Hunter Pence wins the Willie Mack Award today.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, here's my thought. So if they're in a 1-game playoff with Colorado, do you start Kershaw?
No,
Who do you start?
I don't know. You don't start Kershaw. You save Kershaw for that first playoff game.
Okay.
Because you can't, in my opinion, the 1-game playoff doesn't make a difference in the world. Because it's not like you're playing to get into the postseason. If it was a 1-game tiebreaker for the wild card spot and winner's in, loser goes home,
Right.
you start Kershaw.
Okay.
But if you lose, you're still in the playoffs. It's like, do you guys play tomorrow or do you play in 3 days? If you're trying to play into the playoffs, start Kershaw. But the fact that you're in, you start the next guy up, or you start the next guy that would be in your rotation no matter what. And if it's Kershaw, I think you skip him a day.
Yeah.
And you let that team that's been lights out, you let them pitch, and you save Kershaw either for the wild card game or that first game of the divisional series.
And Oscar, I was just gonna say that I don't trust Kershaw in the playoffs. He hasn't shown at all any kind of potential to do anything in the playoffs. So, again, I think I like Milwaukee coming out of this.
Milwaukee's going to be good. I think the Braves have a really chance to be good in this playoff series. I don't think the Cubs have it. I mean, it was a dream season a couple of years ago. So Oscar says the Dodgers don't have enough pitching to go far, and Kershaw chokes in the playoffs. Buehler is our strongest pitcher right now. So, and that's what I like about Oscar. He's real. He understands it. Like, he's not just one of those, the Dodgers, once they get in the playoffs, Kershaw's going to bounce back.
Yeah, right.
No, he hasn't done that yet. So, like I said, it's a lock the Dodgers get in. I think it's a lock they win today. They're just going to ride the momentum going forward. And then the NL playoff picture is going to be, looking at the across the board, the whole playoff bracket, there's not a gimme series where you're like, oh, this one's going to be a walk in the park and this team's going to get a break. It's stacked.
Yeah, it is. It's everybody's even. And like I said, you cannot sleep on the Brewers.
And I don't think you can sleep on the Braves either, which is beautiful because my pick right now out of the NL is going to be, it's the Braves or the Rockies. Like, they're both really good. I think I'm going to give the edge to the Braves just because they have that fire, that young fire underneath them.
They have no experience.
That's okay. The Giants didn't have any experience in 2010, and they went through it all as well. The Cubs really didn't have any experience 2 years ago when they won it all either. So sometimes, and we're going to talk about the A's in a second. The A's don't have any experience either, and they're going to be just fine if they can figure out their pitching. The beautiful thing is, let's say you take Milwaukee and I take the Braves. They don't meet until the championship series,
right?
Which is fantastic for baseball.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's fantastic for diehard fans. It's not going to be fantastic. It's not going to be fantastic for the fringe fan, and ratings will suck.
Maybe, but
I mean, you have to have a big market team. You have to have
because last year that Yankees Astros was in the
World Series.
No, the World Series was Dodgers and
Astros.
But 2 years ago, Cubs Indians. I mean, sure, you could say the Cubs are a big market team, but the Cubs, they don't have that following.
The Cubs don't have that following?
They didn't have that excitement they don't have the excitement that the Red Sox or Yankees or Dodgers
the Cubs have a huge following. I mean, the Cubs are, I would say it's probably Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
As far as fan followings. Absolutely.
Then why are the Cubs on ESPN's miserable fan base? They won a World Series 2 years ago. And they still made it.
It's not you're going back to not understanding what that was saying.
I don't think ESPN understands it.
No.
Anyways, you're taking Milwaukee.
I'm taking Milwaukee.
I'll take the Braves out of the NL. On the other side, it's the A's and Yankees in the one-game wild card. Winner goes on to Boston.
Sorry, A's fans.
I think the A's can pull off the Yankees. They have decent enough bullpen pitching to
they have great bullpen pitching.
And if they bullpen the game, which they're talking about doing,
they will.
Then I think they can quiet Stanton and Judge, who's not been playing, I don't think. And I think they can muster their way through the Yankees in a one game. But the problem is they go to Boston. And I don't think anyone can get to Boston.
Sweep.
Patrick says, hey guys, my A's are playing with house money. I'm just enjoying the ride. Hope my A's do something that's wild card. Sorry if y'all talk about the A's. Good morning as well. Cubs do have a strong fan base. I that's not what I meant when I said they weren't exciting in the World Series, but we'll all digress.
Well, it didn't draw. It's all about ratings.
Right. But if you go back and watch pure baseball, that was one of the better series we've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. Actually, last year's was one of the best World Series.
That one was good too, except the Dodgers were in it.
Wow.
So I think I'm going to ride the A's little bandwagon one game, but I hate to say it, they're going to get murdered.
I'm not. I think it's going to be Yankees Red Sox in that first round,
which is good. I just wish that could line up if that has to happen. I wish that could line up into the championship series.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it's going to be Houston. I keep saying the C. Yeah, it's Cleveland.
Yeah.
Indians. On the other side,
which is going to be a good series. Depending on Cleveland's pitching is a little banged up right now.
Is it cliche though to look at the AL and simply go Boston's going to take the whole thing. I mean, they've
No,
been playing great.
You can't
but
say that because you got Houston.
I think I'm going to ride Houston looking to go back to back. I think Houston is a great story. That team is playing fantastic. I'm gonna ride Houston's coattails in the AL.
Well, it goes back to something we were talking about earlier. Is they're the champions,
And they're the champions until they're not.
Yeah, and so these guys fortunately have a chance maybe to do something in the playoffs, where the Cleveland Cavaliers have no shot at
Right.
doing anything.
Fucking can't believe that shit.
I don't think they're even going to make it through the regular season without imploding.
A's won the season series versus Boston this year. Season series.
And Boston's built for the playoffs.
They are. They're
built for the
stacked.
playoffs.
Oscar says Yankees Braves World Series. That would be a fun one.
See, now I can see that if the Yankees bats get hot. They have to get scorching hot, and Stanton and Judge have to just
They
go
have to
crazy.
get Judge back.
Well, I thought he was back.
Did he come back
I
already?
think he's back, yeah.
Well, then he needs to find midseason form ASAP because he's been out for a long time. That'd be fun. I just want to see good baseball.
I think this is going to be a really interesting postseason because you have on one side in the National League, you have 5 teams that you could basically put any name in a hat and pull it out, and that could be your World Series team that representative.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have basically on the other side, you have one juggernaut, one defending champion, and then a whole bunch
Hold
of
on.
teams that are normal.
Patrick, I get that you're an A's fan, I guess, but you're not even, well, I guess Oscar didn't do it either. I won't give you shit, but I find it weird that both of you guys, I guess you're being realistic, both have predictions that don't include your team in the World Series.
No, I mean, how can you?
Oscar says Braves, Yankees. Patrick says Brewers, Astros. I think that would be a fun series.
Yeah, Patrick, I think I kind of line up with you. That's kind of where I'm headed is Astros Brewers.
Right.
Who's your pick for the American League?
I'm taking Astros. I will say this, though. Aside from the World Series and the playoffs and everything else, the Giants have already won the hearts of all their Giants fans because they fucking fired dumbass Bobby Evans.
How long have we been calling for that? They finally listened to us? Maybe they turned on the show last week.
You know what? They probably didn't have their settings on iTunes, so they weren't getting new episodes, and they
Right.
probably all came in at one time, and they're like, "Oh fuck, those guys are right." But what worries me a little bit is Larry Bear kept saying our new GM, whether he or she decides, basically is going to have full decision making to shake things up.
Right.
They want to go a new like innovative route. They want to do things differently.
What is going on in here today?
I don't know. They want to do things differently, and it worries me in a way that they may just blow things up, but then it also kind of excites me in a way that they may blow things up. I'm still a big proponent somehow that if they move Bumgarner, they're going to have a gentleman's agreement somehow, some way that he comes back the following year and combines those with those prospects, just like Aroldis Chapman did with the Yankees. I strongly believe that Brandon Belt's gone.
Yeah.
The only two players.
But the problem with Brandon Belt is he's got a huge contract and he's hurt all the time. So he has zero trade value.
If that's right, oh God. I've heard that they're going to try to get Billy Bean. If they get Billy Bean, it's going to be done. Moneyball does not work. If he goes the Moneyball route in San Francisco, he may not. He may be able to actually be a general manager in San Francisco because they'll actually let him spend money. I think the Moneyball system obviously worked simply for the fact that, or didn't work, simply for the fact that he wasn't allowed to spend money.
Yeah.
So he came up with a system. You let a guy, that would be I think the perfect example of Billy Bean. You look at Jeff Petrie. When the Kings were riding high and everything was going great and he could spend money, he built amazing teams.
Right.
Once the Maloof started getting strapped for cash and they started putting restrictions on his spending, he went down the drain.
Right.
I think Billy Bean has the mindset of a GM where if you give him free checkbook, he builds a super team. But when you put restrictions on him, he has to get creative and it just doesn't work.
And I don't think that you're going to see the contracts out of control like you did with Bobby Evans.
Right.
You're not going to see Mark Melanson getting $120 million and pitching 120 innings.
Right. Josh just said, I don't think he will if he has money. Use that system with money. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine if he uses that same metric system that he uses, but allows he can go from like C-level players that have the same kind of money up to B+ and A-level players where it's like, yeah, we can give so and so $200 bajillion, but we could get the same production by giving this guy 150 bajillion. You know what I mean? Like, you're still going to get top level players and not
Right.
just the little guys. Oscar says, how about football? Let's talk about them Raiders. We're going to get to that too.
So because I want to talk about this GM thing a little bit more.
Right.
One of the things that we
we'll get
heard,
to Oscar, I swear, I promise.
one of the things that we heard a lot from Larry Bear over the week was no matter who it is, he or she will have the free reign to do everything. And every single time, he never said he.
Right.
It was always he or she. I've heard the names of 2 women that are potential general manager candidates. One,
Condoleezza Rice.
no.
I don't know. Just...
One is an assistant general manager, I believe, for the Mets, and the other one she's in the Major League Baseball office working on new developmental areas of baseball talent. So, by all accounts, they're both very, very well qualified. They've both been involved with building teams from the bottom up.
And let's be real, women are better with money.
And the one, and I think her last name is Ing, who's with the Major League Baseball thing, actually beat the agent Boros in a one-on-one salary arbitration.
Oh, wow.
So she knows her shit.
Right.
Do you think the Giants would take that chance and go with a female general manager?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be for as much about the PR as it would be the baseball part, or do you think they'd make that decision basically or strictly on the baseball knowledge?
I would say it's probably 75-25. It's 75% baseball knowledge, 25% PR. Because think about it. They want to give free reign to a general manager to go out and bring in talent and build up a team. You're going to make more money if you bring in the first woman GM. You're going to have more women following your team. You're going to have more women wanting to come out to the ballpark. You're going to have your fan base is going to grow simply for that part. Because
but are you going to lose guys who think?
Not at all. Because
you don't think so?
If the team starts winning games, those guys are going to stay. But you're going to get more. You're going to get more people coming in. And
How is a woman general manager going to increase fan base?
Because women are going to look at the Giants and go, "Oh wow, they're stepping outside the box. They're giving a woman equal opportunity."
So did that happen when they hired Rennell as their PA announcer?
What does Rennell have to do with the team?
Rennell is the voice of the team.
Right, but that
no woman had ever been
right.
a PA announcer in a major U.S. sport.
And there's 2 of them now, and neither one of the teams' popularity necessarily grew. I'm sure fans like coming to the game and hearing her voice. But the thing is, I think if she comes in, you're gonna get the sway vote of the women. It's like, oh great, look, the Giants are being outside the box. They're thinking outside the box. So you're going to get those people. And then if she keeps winning games, then that Giants fan is not going to go away. So I think you're going to benefit from both. I think the Giants side of it, like I said, would be 75-25 PR. Or baseball over PR. But on the fan side of it, especially with the women, it would be 75-25. They're going to look at that PR move as a boost as opposed to what happens on the baseball field.
Could be. I mean, I don't think it's that much. I think there'll be some women. But think about the Giants. I think the Giants are a unique team in any sport where women love them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many women you see, when they go through the stands on a game, how many women are sitting with other women watching the game? How many girls do you know that are Giants fans?
Yeah. But let me ask you this, because we'll go back to the GM thing. How much of that changes is if this new GM comes in and chips away Bumgarner and Belt and
I think that destroys the fan base.
because there's only 2 players right now that are protected, and that's Posey and Crawford because they both have no trade clauses. No one else is protected on this roster at all.
I am not one of those that think you have to get rid of Bumgarner. I mean, I like your theory if it
I'm not
works
saying
out.
you have to, but the only way you keep Bumgarner is if you throw a max deal at him because he knows he'll get a max deal elsewhere. So
Do you think he will though?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he hasn't been
absolutely
the last 2
think he
years.
will.
The last 2 years, he hasn't done
the
anything.
last 2 years he's been working off of a freak injury, and if he can stay healthy, you know that you're going to get Bumgarner back. And I think just the idea of riding him into the playoffs is worth that contract by itself. You have to look at it and go, okay, when he's healthy and when he's pitching, he's still Madison Bumgarner. It's just he hasn't had the innings and he hasn't had the time on the mound because of the motorcycle accident and then this freak line drive he took. You get him back and you get him healthy, you throw $200 million at him. And that's what worries me is that they handcuffs the Giants big time if that happens.
Well, they're already handcuffed, and this isn't going to be something that you can turn around in a year.
no.
This is not. There's too many. The brand. If you can find somebody that's
Oscar wants to know if those women are actually women.
yes, they're women.
Some of them. 90%.
They're all women. There's too many. You got the Melanson contract that's handcuffing you. You got Cueto, who isn't going to pitch next year, but you're paying him $25 million.
Yeah.
You got Belt, who
I think Belt gets traded. I
don't think he's got any trade value.
he does. The Giants
I
will
don't-
eat
I
some
don't
of
think
his
so.
contract.
I don't
and
think so.
He'll get traded.
I don't think they
you
have
Send
any-
him, you send him to a minor league team or a minor league. You send him to the minors. You send him to an American League team where he can be just a DH. Get him in the field.
Why can't we keep him and put him in left field? He's not a bad left
That would
fielder,
be an
and he's
option.
got an arm.
That would be an option.
And
if
we
they can-
certainly need
Yeah, you put,
outfielders.
You put Duggar in center. You put Belt in left, and you go get a right fielder. I can see that.
Yeah, there's a good one available too.
Yeah, but his production in San Francisco is terrible. I know who you're talking about. But that might be a way that you get hired as a general manager of the Giants. You come in and go, I'm gonna tell you right now, my plan is I'm going all in on Bryce Harper. You give me the green light, I'm going all in on Bryce Harper. We're gonna start there and we're gonna build up the rest.
And one of the guys that they're talking about is the assistant GM. I think he's assistant GM or something at Washington, and he's been there and he's got Bay Area ties. So if they truly do want to go all in on Bryce Harper, then that might be the place, the person you bring in who's got ties to Harper, who by all accounts the players love him.
Right.
I think that might be the person you bring in if you're going to go after Harper, and if they do, and I forget the guy's name, but if it's the guy who has ties to the Nationals, if he gets hired, to me that says I'm going after Bryce Harper with everything.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
And I think the pitch you make to Harper is you just bring a slideshow of Barry Bonds home runs, a videotape of Barry Bonds home
And
runs.
then right
and
when the
on.
video ends, the curtain that you're displaying on opens and Barry Bonds walks in.
Right,
How's it going?
Right.
Nice to meet you, I'm Barry Bonds.
because I think the problem isn't hitting the right field, because
He
left
hits a lot of
fielders,
home runs.
left-handed people can hit home runs in AT&T Park. The problem is right-handers trying to hit in AT&T Park. You can't do anything. I mean, it's just too big. In center, if you have power to all fields, if you have somebody that can hit them out in right field, AT&T Park's not necessarily that unattractive of a ballpark.
Right. All right. Let's move on. We'll talk baseball in a little bit. There's going to be a lot of baseball once the offseason starts because there's the Bumgarner thing, there's the GM thing for the Giants. There's already been talks that the Dodgers may be looking to part ways with Clayton Kershaw as well. Save them some money, let them go in a different direction. I think that's all going to be dependent on how he does in the playoffs. If he chokes again, they may look at it and go, you know what? We don't need to leverage $25+ million to a guy that can't win in the playoffs, and they move on. So we're going to have a lot of baseball to talk.
This is going to be an interesting winter.
It's going to be time for this. Let's see. He would be welcome in Oakland. Oakland's not signing Bumgarner or Kershaw, Josh.
No.
I'm just going to go and put that out there. We had a question from David Smith. As a diehard Bears fan, if our defense continues to progress and become the number 1 D, do you think Trubinsky can do enough to carry us into the playoffs?
I don't think it's going to be Travinsky that carries
gonna
you
be
into
the
the play.
defense
It's
that
going to be
carries-
the defense that
The
carries you
only
into the
problem
playoffs.
that they have is Trubinsky has to do enough to compete with Rodgers and Cousins in that North. The defense can do enough, but you're gonna need a quarterback who can at least keep you in games, and I think he can do it. The question is, what will he do with the pressure starts? Because there's going to be a lot of pressure on this young guy. He's only in his second year, and it'll be interesting. I think that's going to be like the storyline of the year, especially now that Garoppolo's down. The NL West is pretty much parity free at this point. It's going to be unless CJ is just like the man, or the Niners realize today that CJ can't do it, and they go out and maybe trade for like Nick Foles or somebody.
Yeah.
There's not going to be
Not
much
there.
going on. Oscar, thanks for it, bud. We appreciate it. See you guys in 2 weeks. Next week, Oscar, we won't have a show, the 6th. I'll be out of town for the weekend. So maybe we'll do an early show if we can in the week, maybe to get our previews in. Maybe we'll just do a Facebook Live where Greg will remote in. We'll figure something out. But next week on the 6th, there will be no show. So, Oscar, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Breaking news. Football talk. Let's
Which there might not be a show.
what's that?
I have some.
Okay. Well, then we'll do something. TJ, what are you doing in 2 weeks? Football talk. Niners, big loss. Trubinsky, God damn it. Garoppolo, done for the year. Are you as hard on Garoppolo for that play as I have been this week?
No, I just think it was a fluke.
You don't think that it was a stupid football play to try? It's third and like 18 or whatever the hell it was. You got 12 of the yards on the run. You're almost out of bounds. You don't go out of bounds to stop the clock to avoid the big hit. And then on top of that, you initiate contact with your throwing shoulder on a safety who's coming in at you full speed for another yard, which isn't going to make a difference in the world anyways. Why are and I know that the knee happened when he tried to cut it back inside. If you just go out of bounds, the chances of your knee getting raked are much lower because you're not putting that pressure on the cut, and you're not risking your throwing shoulder by initiating contact with a big safety. Like, why are you not protecting yourself and your team to go out of bounds and get the next play going?
I think it was an inexperienced play. I think had Garoppolo, I mean, he's got 8 games underneath his belt.
Yeah,
he
but-
doesn't have a lot of experience. I think that he was trying to make a football play. He was trying to be a football player, and I think, was it a stupid play? Yeah. Should he have gone out of bounds? Yeah. But I kind of like it.
I like the tenacity.
I kind of
of
like
it.
the tenacity. I like the toughness, and he if it doesn't happen on that play, it's going to happen somewhere else.
Possibly,
So
yeah.
I can't fault him. It wasn't the play that I would recommend him doing. I'd much rather have him go out of bounds, but I don't have a problem with it because he was trying to pick up an extra yard.
No, I agree with that, but at the same time, it bothers the hell out of me. Like, man, you set yourself up you set all of us up for disaster there. Now, on the flip side to that, CJ Beathard comes in, and I want to preface this with Niner fans need to calm the hell down because they're all automatically thrown in the towel. We can't win. We're screwed. We need to go out and get insert quarterback here. Kaepernick. Anyways, CJ comes in and arguably makes the best throw we've seen a 49er quarterback make probably since Young. The way he dropped that ball in on Kittle in the end zone, over coverage, it was just the perfect throw with no rhythm, no warm-up, no ability to get into the game. He came in cold and was just like, hey, Jimmy's hurt, go. to make that throw on 4th and goal, and then only for it to be called back on the most bullshit pass interference call I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Niner fans, even if I said it in a few of the Facebook groups that I'm in, if we look at what CJ brought to the offense on that one play, because that's all we've seen from him this season is that one play, the poise that he had there shows that he's grown up as a quarterback, hands down, learning a full offseason behind Jimmy. And anyone that says, oh, Kaepernick would be better, Kaepernick's not making that throw.
No.
Kaepernick throws a dart because that's all he can throw, and it either gets picked off or it hits Juszczyk in the face because he turned and got grabbed by that wide receiver.
Or hits him in the feet.
Or he goes
Or
to
hits him in
run
the
it
feet.
because he doesn't have the vision to make that throw.
Right. No, he doesn't.
You guys got to remember that TJ's absolutely right. Beathard played a pro-style offense in college and has a year of professional ball under his belt. And he has a full offseason with Garoppolo. And he had a full offseason with wide receivers that weren't scumbags the whole season like he had last year. I think CJ comes in and does just fine.
He's going to do fine. The Niners weren't necessarily going to be a playoff team this year. And
They had a chance to limp in, but they weren't a Super Bowl team like a lot of Niner fans had them pegged
No. And I'm going to say something that's a little bit maybe unpopular with Niner fans. Garoppolo didn't impress me at all this year.
Garoppolo had a lot of growing to do.
He didn't impress me at all. I think he came in. The schedule is very favorable for him last year when he came in. He made some good throws. He kind of lived off that hype of I'm going to come in and save your team. But then when you have a whole offseason to game plan for him, you get a couple of injuries on the offensive line. All of a sudden, he's not Jimmy G. He's just Jimmy okay.
Well, and here,
I don't know.
he's not Jimmy GQ. He's just Jimmy G.
Right.
And I think
He's just some quarterback banging a stripper.
right, and I think that if anything good comes from it, there's a couple things that came from this. If you go back to the Kaepernick hype that surrounded him and Harbaugh tried to pump that up. He kept saying, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be the next great thing. He's gonna be the next great thing." Blah 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 blah. And Kaepernick faltered. The media hyped up Garoppolo like he was the next coming of Jesus, and
Right.
Shanahan and Garoppolo both were like, "Whoa, calm it down. I've only started 7 games. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit." Like, they were on the forefront of trying to calm things down. It shows that he wasn't maybe necessarily ready, but he was progressing game after game. But it's gotta be a eye-opening moment for John Lynch to know that he needs to go out and get weapons for this offense.
Yeah.
Look at what the Rams did. The Rams went all in on their offense. They traded for Brandon Cooks. They have Connor Kupp. They have Robert Woods. They have, insert player here, and that makes it in Gurley. That makes it easy.
Well, they didn't shy away from their defense either.
No, they didn't. But
Here's the difference. And I've heard this a lot this year. They're doing that with a quarterback on a rookie contract.
yeah,
They don't have $120 million wrapped up into a quarterback. They have, I don't think he's even making $1 million.
but they also the Niners. You have to look at what John Lynch did. He went conservative and he tried to fill a couple holes. Even after they signed Garoppolo, though, they still had $70 million in cap space.
Well, yeah, but
they could have been more aggressive on the offensive side, especially to get him a weapon. I like Marquise Goodwin. They signed him at a relatively low rate. I'm not sold on Garcon.
No.
Trent Taylor's okay, but then after that, they just relied on all these rookie guys. Next year, you have to go out.
Yeah.
They should have been more aggressive on Josh Gordon. They should have been more aggressive on insert player here. There's a lot that could have been done. They should have been more aggressive on Khalil Mack. I mean, they had the money to do it, and Lynch was just kind of timid.
And I think the thing that's hurt the Niners the most, one, I think, I agree with everything you say. I think the thing that hurt them the most this season with what they had was Jerick McKinnon going down.
That was big.
Because I think that he was penciled in to be their 3-down back. And even though Breida is doing well, he's still young and who knows what he's going to do. So I think that injuries have hurt him. I think it's going to be all right if they win 6 games this year. I think that should be 6 or 7 games is what they're going to shoot for. Get restocking your offensive line and
without a doubt.
and try to pick up a couple of playmakers on the outside. They don't have a playmaker on the outside. I don't even think Marquise Goodwin. He's not a playmaker. He's
Here's
fast.
my question: why the hell hasn't Des Bryant been called? At this point, you need something for CJ to not just crumble. The offensive line's already broken. You need a guy where he's in trouble, he can throw the ball up. Goodwin's 5'11". He's not jumping over anybody. Garcon's not breaking away and getting in a place where he can jump over anybody. Why not go sign Des Bryant to a $4 million contract or whatever it is that he can get, that the Browns offered him that he turned down? Go out there and get him to give at least a security blanket of sorts to CJ to see what can happen. The Niners' defense right now is one of the top defenses against the run in the league. They can still, and then their passing is terrible, but they can still help in a lot of places.
They can't tackle either.
They can't tackle to save their life, but
So they lead the league in missed tackles.
the Niners' defense right now, second in the NFL yards per carry at 5.6. Rushing yards allowed, 458. That's second. Yards per carry, I guess it'd be yards per catch, 13th. And 291 rushing yards allowed is 10th.
Is that
Sorry,
defense?
just kidding. They're running the ball. They're at 5.6 yards a carry. That's second in the NFL with Breida. They have 458 rushing yards. That's second in the NFL. On the stopping the run, they've only allowed 3.7 yards per carry, which is 13th, and 291 yards rushing allowed. That's 10th. Their
So
defense,
defensively, they've been fine, and there's a lot of room for them to improve.
Pittsburgh is actively shopping Bell, but
No,
without Garoppolo, you don't bring Bell in. Although Bell would give CJ that safety blanket, you don't go balls to the wall with Bell unless you have Garoppolo in place and you have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs.
well, you also don't go after Bell unless you have a legitimate shot at signing him next year too,
which
because
you can't do.
it's gonna cost you at a minimum a first and a second to get Bell, I would think. And
It may not cost that much anymore.
well, yeah, but it's going to cost you something, and you can't risk losing all that when he walks away next summer.
Right. That's exactly the problem. It's the only way it works is if Pittsburgh decides to remove this franchise tender and then
They can't. They can't. No, they
They
can't.
can rescind it.
No, they can't.
Yes.
No,
they can.
they cannot.
Just like Josh Norman did.
They cannot rescind it. They can sign him, but they can't rescind it.
I'm pretty sure.
No, they can't. TJ, back me up on this. You cannot rescind the offer now. You can rescind it before the season starts. You can't rescind it afterwards. They can sign it and trade him, but he can only play for that franchise tag.
All right. Well, I read differently, and I heard differently on ESPN. Maybe it was before the season started,
Yeah,
but
see.
either way, you don't go after Bell unless you have a fully stocked offensive weapons. And Bell's signing with San Francisco next season anyways. Josh, do you actually believe that? Because I don't. I don't see Bell signing here. Not because they just signed McKinnon. You can't have Bell and McKinnon under a big contract. It's just not going to happen. Let's do our picks. Games have already started on the...
haven't they?
They sure have. So everybody in our league took the Rams over the Vikings. So everyone's up one.
Okay.
The Bengals go to the Falcons today.
I have the Bengals.
Let me see if I can refresh this. Soon it showed me the scores. Have games not started? What the hell is going on here? Let me back
Oh, there it is. Some of them, there's just no, there it is. I got it. So I took the Bengals. They're losing 7-0.
I have the Falcons, so that means they're up. Oh, there it is, 7-0. Okay. Jaguars, Jets. I have the Jaguars.
I took the Jaguars. Tied 0-0.
Cowboys, Lions. I have the Cowboys at home.
I have Lions.
0-0. Eagles, Titans. I have the Eagles on the road.
I do too. They're losing 3-0.
Green Bay, Buffalo. I have Green Bay.
I do too.
I do have Josh Allen starting in our league against you, though. Colts and Texans. I have the Colts.
I have the Texans.
Patriots, Dolphins. I was very tempted to take the Dolphins, but I have the Patriots as in a bounce back game.
I was too. I took the Patriots.
I have the Bears over the Buccaneers. They're up 7-0.
I have the Buccaneers.
Raiders, Browns in Oakland.
I just changed this game.
You took the Raiders?
No.
I have the Browns as well. I think Baker Mayfield comes in and destroys Oakland for some reason. It's just a gut feeling I have.
Gruden's still looking for a pass rush.
Yeah, they're hard to find. They're really hard to
You know,
find.
I saw a stat as I was leaving the house today. Gruden's on a 7-game coaches losing streak.
That's because he's not a good coach.
No,
We've
he's
said it
not.
over and
Yeah.
over again. He's nearly a career losing coach. Seahawks at Cardinals.
Oh, Seahawks, big.
Yeah, me too. Chargers, Niners.
Chargers, big.
I have the Niners losing that game. Saints at the Giants.
Saints.
I have the Saints. Steelers host the Ravens.
I took the Steelers.
So did I. And the Chiefs go to Denver on Monday night.
I'm riding the Chiefs all year long.
I have the Chiefs as well. Josh Denman will be happy about that. Let's see here. Any other story? Any other talk you want to have? What is your reasoning behind taking Cleveland over Oakland today?
Yeah, we talked about it. I think it's Gruden. I think I just don't think he knows how to get a team ready for this game. What is that?
It's a protective glass. I just don't know for what phone.
Oh.
It just distracted me, and I was like,
Squirrel.
yeah, pretty much.
I think that I just don't think the Raiders are a good team right now. I think I think talent wise they're probably equal to the Browns. I think, and I hate to say this because the coaching staff is 1-31 in the last 2 years. I think I think the Browns have a better coaching staff.
Wow. I'm just not sold on what they're trying to do.
No.
I don't know. I think honestly Derek Carr is going to be outperformed today by Baker Mayfield, and I think the Browns are going to be coming off of an extreme high. They have a longer week to prepare, and I think they're going to come out. They have nothing to lose.
No.
Where Oakland has to start winning games because those Raider fans are going to not be happy if they start 0-4. So this game is way bigger to Oakland to win at home against the Browns because they have that circled as a must-win. Where the Browns come in, they're playing with house money today.
Right.
Who cares if we win or lose this game?
Right.
But you know what? We're going to come out. We're going to light it up because honestly, I am a firm believer that if the Browns would have started Baker Mayfield every game this year, they have a chance right now to be 3-0. Because they were in it with Pittsburgh, they missed a couple kicks, and Tyrod Taylor
Right.
couldn't throw the ball to save his life. The second game was against... Who did they play week 2? Drawing a blank on who they played
I
week
don't
2,
remember
but they
either.
were right in it at the end.
Was it Baltimore?
Ended up losing that game. No, I can look it up real quick. And then they beat the Jets last
The
week.
Jets,
So
yeah.
I mean, they were in all 3 of those games. Why couldn't they be 3-0? Why can't they be a better team? I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority on that, but I'm a firm believer that Cleveland could be a totally different team if they would
I
have
think they
started
could be
Baker
at least
Mayfield.
2-1. I think they might have beat Pittsburgh with the tie that they had.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't know if Baker Mayfield would have made that much of a difference, but what do they got to lose? They have nothing to lose right now.
Right.
I think it was Napier was talking
It was
about
the
this.
Saints. They lost by 3 to the
That's
Saints.
right.
And they made the Saints' high-powered offense with Drew Brees look bad.
Right.
Their
Right.
defense is playing really good football.
Right. So Napier was talking the other day, if the Raiders start 0-4, you're going to see 30,000 no-shows at the Coliseum. Do you think he's right?
If they're going to start having no-shows?
No, 30,000, which means half the stadium is going to be empty.
I do. And I think that's part of the Raiders' plan, is hoping that fans stop coming so they can leave town early.
Yeah.
The Raiders have reached out to San Diego to play their games there next season so they can get out of Oakland. There's been talks about them possibly renting a year at Levi's Stadium to get out of Oakland. That or the University of Nevada is still in play.
That
If-
would be where I would think
If
they would
the
go.
Raiders don't start winning games and the fans stop coming, it is the perfect excuse for that weasel Mark Davis to jump in and go, you know what? We're good. We're out. And on top of that, I think that's the green light for John Gruden to go, hey, Derek Carr, you're available on the trade market.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to blow it up, and it's going to be rough. And, you know, I get Raider fans' optimism. I understand what's going on, but you gotta take a page from Oscar and Patrick, these guys that are out their teams not having the potential that other fans see, and look at it from an outside perspective. I'm not trying to hate on the Raiders. Like I said, last year, nothing would make me happier this year if it were a Raiders Super Bowl, specifically against the Niners, like a Battle of the Bay before they left for Vegas. But I would have loved to seen the Raiders, if it wasn't my Niners, the Raiders in the Super Bowl, for all those fans that stuck along with them, to have that final parade in Oakland. So this isn't me trying to just be a typical Niner fan that's hating on the Raiders, but at the same time, I look at it from an outside perspective. If you give any chance, or if you give any confidence in Mark Davis to do the right thing, you're fooling yourself.
You're crazy.
You're fooling yourself, and you're setting yourself up for heartbreak is what you're doing.
If you're a Raider fan, if you're a Las Vegas fan, he's a genius because he's doing it the best way he can.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to look at a dude, and I hate to get personal on the guy, but you look at a guy who thinks that his haircut is stylish, can't be trusted to run an NFL team.
The problem is, the problem is he has Davis in his blood, and every week that things continue to go wrong, and every week that fans start getting more and more upset, Mark Davis is sitting in his office in Oakland, and he's sharpening his knife. And every week that he sharpens that knife, it's going to be easier and easier to stick that in the back of Raider fans and give them a big middle finger and say, look, we're out. So, like I said, I feel bad. Raider fans, I wish things would be going differently for you guys because you deserve it. Like, there's not a better fan base, I think, in football that deserves more than Raider fans, but you're putting too much hope in a lunatic's basket. So, anything else you want to throw in before we...
I'm good, actually, I think.
All right. On that note, we're going to call it. It's been episode 256. Greg Rosa, Greg Bowl. We are out until maybe next week. We'll play it by ear. We might do a midweek show if we can maybe make it work. Maybe via Facebook where we just remote in and get one going. But until then, enjoy football. It's
Night, Larry.
Sunday. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully.